Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We're going to be talking about Caramel Sunday's Witching Hour. Now, this is one of the candles that I purchased in the August restock. So I believe that this candle was most likely poured sometime in, I would say, mid to late July 2025. This is one of their 2-wick vessels. There's about 18 ounces of 100% soy wax in this candle. If you are new to the Caramel Sundays brand, they are a small independently owned business out of Monroe, Georgia. They specialize in 100% soy wax candles. They do have other products that they offer on their website, and I have purchased some of their other products like laundry soap. They have car fresheners, they have home cleaners. I mean, they've got a lot of other stuff. But one of the big things that they really pride themselves on is being non-toxic. So if that is something that is important to you, if you want candles that are phthalate, paraben, VOC, all the scary ingredients free, then this may be a brand that will appeal to you. So this candle will be available again in the September restock, which is happening this Sunday, September 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do have in the description box down below how you can sign up for early access to their drop. I've done quite a few videos on Caramel Sundays at this point, so I don't really want to waste the time going over how to shop with them, but they are kind of more of a Hunger Games style of business model. If you go on to the Caramel Sundays website right now, everything's going to be listed as sold out. You definitely want to have your list ready to go and shop at the drop, but I will have more of those tips and tricks available for you guys later on this week when I share with you guys what is on my wish list for the September restock. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this fragrance, Witching Hour. I believe that it will be returning in this 2-wick format for this drop. I can't remember if it's going to be available in the 4-wick. This 2-wick format does retail for $31.99, and that does include the cost of shipping. Fragrance notes on Witching Hour are top notes of cranberry, musk, mid notes, pralines, base note of icing, and ginger cookie. Okay, so I honestly was really intrigued by this candle, mainly because I really like the way that Caramel Sundays does cranberry notes. I love their pistachio cranberry, which if you're going to ask me like two of the fragrance notes that I think that they routinely knock out of the park, it's usually pistachio and cranberry. They are the brand that I really, really love their take on both of those fragrance notes. But I was very curious about, you're including some nuttiness in here with the praline, and you've got some ginger cookie. I was thinking, what is this going to smell like, So here's the thing. What my nose predominantly smells when this candle is burning is definitely the cranberry note. It's there at the top. But there is a little bit of muskiness that I'm going to be really honest with you guys. The longer that this candle burns, so like when this candle's been burning for about 3 hours, that musky note, which is funny, it's listed as a top note, so you would smell it at the top. I'm not sure if it's the musky note mixed with the base note of like a ginger cookie and the praline. I'm not sure that I particularly love it. Now, I think what it is that it's mixing with the way that Caramel Sundays does their cranberry, it is perfect to me because it's like perfectly balanced between being that sugary sweetness with the tartness that you get from a cranberry. Like I said, they do it very, very well. But I'm thinking that the other notes mixed with this, once this candle's been burning for about 3 hours, it almost turns the cranberry almost slightly acidic smelling to my nose. Now, again, that could just be my own nose. You guys, everybody's noses smell things differently. And I tend to notice that sometimes the note of praline mixed with other things, sometimes my nose likes a praline note and other times it does not. And so I'm trying to figure out what it is that's mixing with this candle. And the funny thing is that I don't smell it the first hour and a half that this candle is burning. And really, I would say like the majority of the time that this candle is burning, like if I burn those first 2 hours, if I burn it in a 2-hour increment, I really, really enjoy it. But it's after those like 2 hours that I start to be like, ooh, this is starting to smell a little bit too tart for my nose. And again, that's just me personally. So I will say that this is one of the few candles from Caramel Sundays that probably is not really like a standout winner for me. I do like it. I am also thinking that what I might do is set this candle aside. This type of fragrance profile is really truly something that I burn more so like late October, early November. I do tend to gravitate towards more cranberry scents throughout the month of November because I think cranberry is a great transitional fragrance from like all of the apple and pumpkin that you typically get with a lot of traditional fall fragrances. But I'm not yet quite ready for all of the full on holiday tree and gourmand type of scents. So I feel like what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this one aside and revisit it again, probably in another month, and see how I'm feeling about it. But yeah, it's not that I hate it because I don't. I'm telling you, the first 2 hours of the burn, I really enjoyed. I get that nice, tart, sweet cranberry, a little bit of not even really like spice. There's no spices mixed in here, but it's just like a really nice cranberry scent. But like I said, once I get around like that 2.5, 3 hours on it, that the cranberry starts to get a little bit too tart for my personal preferences. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle. So you can see I've got a nice deep wax pool going. I've had this candle burning for about 3 hours now. Now remember you guys, those of you who may be new to my channel may not know this, but I do live in Arizona. It is still pretty warm outside. In fact, today it is still 92 degrees out. So I am running my air conditioning, but my air conditioning is not set super low. Ambient temperature inside of my house right now is about 77 degrees. So I do get a pretty deep wax pool pretty quickly on my candles still right now, which is actually good for soy wax. Soy wax, usually the hotter it is, the more fragrance it will emit. I've had varied performance with this candle as well. I would say that the first burn on this candle, it was very strong for me. I would give it about like an 8 in terms of strength and throw on the first burn. However, I have found that as I have reached kind of this point, and again, this is something that I haven't had happen a ton with Caramel Sundays candles, although I do find this sometimes to happen with soy wax just in general. I've had this happen with my Kringle candles too. Sometimes I get to a point in the candle where I notice that the strength and throw diminishes a little bit. And oftentimes it's when that does happen, it's usually at this point where I'm like around like a third of the way down on the wax pool. I have found that this has kind of diminished a little bit to about a 6 in terms of strength and throw right now. If I pop it into a hurricane, it might bump back up to like around a 7. But at the time that I am filming this review, this candle is performing best for me in more closed concept settings. When I'm burning this out in my open concept, it's getting a little bit lost, not horribly lost, like I can still faintly detect it. But like I said, the first time I burned it out in the open concept, it definitely filled up the space. So I don't know, I don't know, maybe I am anticipating that it will probably pick back up again because that's typically what my soy wax candles do. But this one for me, you guys, I'm not going to really even call it a miss. It's just that it's not really in my personal wheelhouse. If you are looking for if you are somebody who likes like autumnal fruits type of fragrances, I am actually going to steer you towards the Autumn Jam candle, which is restocking. I actually burned through all of that prior to me doing a review on it. But that one has fragrance notes of apple and citrus, mid notes of cranberry and spice, base note of wood and dried clove. And I think that I prefer that fragrance profile a little bit more. I do actually plan to repurchase one of those. Hopefully I can get my hands on it during the restock on Sunday because I really, really enjoyed that fragrance. That one's a little bit more into my wheelhouse. And I think it's because it's the cranberry mixed with some of like those woody elements, the dried clove. I do tend to like clove and spice. So personally, you guys, if you tend to have similar fragrance preferences as I do, and you're wanting something that's got a bit of a cranberry note, you like the way that Caramel Sundays does it, I am going to point you towards Autumn Jam. I may be really upset with myself if y'all buy Autumn Jam before I can get a backup of it, but I am just being honest. That is the fragrance that I prefer. If you're going to ask me if you're looking at which one would you go with, Witching Hour or Autumn Jam, I would say Autumn Jam. That's the one that I would choose. So Let me know in the comment box down below if you purchased this candle. What has your experience been with it? Always curious to know. You know, we all have different fragrance preferences, and I know that there's quite a few people who are loving this scent. But for me personally, it's not going to be a repurchase, and it's even one that I could see myself not full on just like decluttering, because I don't hate it. Like I said, I'm enjoying it for like the first 2.5 hours. I'm just finding that after that point, not loving it as much. But if like somebody were to come into my home today and say, "Oh, I love that fragrance," I would say, "Here, you could have it." Like that's kind of that's kind of how I feel about it. So, anyways, you guys, please hit thumbs up if you found this review helpful. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new and you like candle reviews. I do lots of candle content here. I do dedicated reviews like this, but I also do hauls, empties, lots of fun stuff in between. So if you like that, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.